Next week on Capitol Hill, leaders are expected to vote on the SAVE Act, which would require proof of U.S. citizenship be presented along with photo ID to vote in federal elections. House Republicans are pushing for election security as part of funding talks for the Department of Homeland Security. Let's bring in Texas Republican Congressman Brandon Gill. So the SAVE Act is going to come to the floor. What do you think are its chances, Congressman?
Well, it's going to pass out of the House. I'm certainly going to vote for it. I expect every Republican in the House to vote for the SAVE Act. This is something we've been talking about for a long time. And, I think it's particularly relevant after 4 years of Joe Biden letting in 15 million plus illegal aliens into the country. What we want to say is simply that only if you are an American citizen should you be voting in American elections. A core part of national sovereignty is the ability to determine that only our people, only the people who have full allegiance to America and its institutions should be voting. And remember that every time an illegal alien votes in American elections, that waters down or disenfranchises American citizens who should have sole representative power in this country. This is something that the vast majority of Americans agree with, and we're going to get it passed.
The chief Democrat in the United States Senate, Chuck Schumer of New York, seems to disagree with you. I want you to hear what Senator Schumer has to say.
I want to be very clear. The SAVE Act is dead on arrival in the Senate, and every single Senate Democrat will vote against any bill that contains it. Speaker Johnson should tell these SAVE Act Republicans to stand down, or else this shutdown is on the Republican shoulders.
So he says every Democrat is going to vote against it, but he doesn't necessarily have the votes to kill the bill, does he?
That's exactly right. Of course, he doesn't want any Democrat to vote for it because Democrats want illegal aliens voting in our elections. I think that was a big part of why we had open borders for 4 years, is to flood the country with people who impact our congressional apportionment and also who will eventually be able to vote or be able to vote illegally in the meantime. That's been a core part of the Democrat political strategy for a couple decades now, and they've talked about it themselves. But there are a couple ways that we can get this passed so that we can get it onto the president's desk. One is, as he sort of alluded to, is to attach it to must-pass legislation. Another one is to make the Democrats actually argue against the SAVE Act, make them do a real talking filibuster, the way the Senate has historically in many cases worked. If the Senate Democrats want to explain to the American people for hours and hours and hours why basic common sense legislation like voter ID, why they oppose that, then let them do it. Let them make the case to the American people, and the American people are going to side with Republicans every single time because they recognize that this is basic, this is a core part of having a country, and they want to make sure that only Americans are voting in our elections.
The folks at Pew Research seem to agree with you. It's a nonpartisan group that took a poll of Americans. 83% of Americans say they support the idea of showing government-issued ID if you want to vote. I mean, you have to use it if you want to get on a plane. Why not vote? So where does Chuck Schumer get the idea that Americans are not behind him on this one?
Well, I think that Chuck Schumer feels like he's back up against a wall. The Democrats see this as an existential issue for them. Their path to electoral success, as they've articulated in many times over the past couple decades, is flooding the country with illegal aliens and allowing them to vote. And the Democrats have made the bet that those illegal aliens are going to vote Democrat, and they're going to vote Democrat perpetually. And what Republicans are doing is we're simply saying no, which is something we often have to say to Democrats whenever they put forward either bad legislation or idiotic ideas like allowing illegal aliens to vote. And again, the American people are with us every single time an illegal alien votes. That cancels out the vote of an American citizen. What we want is actually to enfranchise the American people.
Texas Republican Congressman Brandon Gill. Congressman, thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.